Welcome to the Tier 1 presentation, created for judges who became JRS members before January 1, 2011. My name is Angie Ackerson, and I'm the manager of the Judges Retirement System. This presentation was updated in September 2024. The Judges Retirement System is a 401A defined benefit plan which requires tax-sheltered percentage-based contributions from your payroll check as a state employee. Unlike a 401k, you aren't responsible for making investment decisions. The JRS investment portfolio is managed by the Illinois State Board of Investments. This presentation is divided into 3 sections. First, I will discuss your retirement benefits and provide some sample calculations. Then I'll review disability and survivor benefits and conclude with information about the retirement process, post-retirement employment, and Social Security Medicare enrollment. As of August 30th, 2024, there were 957 active judges, and 128 of them are at maximum benefits. Of the Tier 1 judges, 213 have membership dates prior to August 10th of 2009, and 59 have membership dates between August 10th of 2009 through 12/31/2010. There are 685 Tier 2 active judges. JRS is currently paying 1,040 retirees, 326 survivors, and 31 Quildro payees. Just a few reminders for our active judges regarding who you need to call. You will call the Administrative Office of the Illinois Courts to update your address, notify them of a change in your marital status, or if you have questions on any deductions from your paycheck or want to change your federal or state withholdings. You will call JRS when you have a change in your marital status, which could result in a change in your JRS contribution for survivor annuity participation. You'll also call JRS to request benefit estimates, schedule an individual telephone conference, request a retirement packet, or just learn more about your retirement and survivor benefits. This next section will provide information about your pension benefit calculation. You'll learn about contribution rates, service credit, and see some calc examples. As an active Tier 1 judge, contributions are deducted from your salary as follows. Retirement annuity is 7.5%, automatic increase is 1%, survivor's annuity is 2.5%, assuming that you've elected to participate in this survivor annuity provision. The total contribution rate is 11%. Unless you've elected not to participate in survivor's annuity, then it's 8.5%. When you first became a judge, you received a new member packet from JRS that provided a form to opt out of participating in the survivor's annuity provision. If you're married, you are required to participate in the survivor annuity provision unless you sign an irrevocable election to opt out of these contributions. This means that no survivor benefits will be payable to your current spouse or any future spouse if you divorce and remarry. Eligible children would still receive child annuity benefits. If you are unmarried, you can elect not to participate in the survivor annuity provision until you become married. In addition, if you elected to participate in the survivor annuity provision as a married judge and later divorce or your spouse passes away, you can elect to discontinue contributing to the survivor's annuity provisions. If you make this election, you will be required to take a refund of your survivor annuity contributions previously credited to your account. Then your contributions would be reduced to 8.5%. An unmarried judge who elects not to participate and later marries will have 2 options regarding survivor annuity participation. Option 1, prorated survivor benefit. You begin contributing 2.5% towards the survivor annuity in the month you are married. This will provide a prorated survivor benefit based on the number of months you contributed while a married judge. Option 2, a full survivor benefit. You pay survivor benefit contributions from your date of membership plus interest to provide a full survivor benefit. Any previous survivor contribution refunds would need to be repaid with interest also. Retired judges who marry and wish to participate can only establish a full survivor annuity option. Retirement eligibility for Tier 1 judges. means you are vested with a minimum of 6 years of JRS service credit to receive a monthly pension benefit. If you are at least 55 but less than age 60 and you have at least 10 years of service, you can retire, but your benefit is reduced. Normal retirement age is age 60 if you have at least 10 years of service, or age 62 with at least 6 years but less than 10. Early retirement before age 60 may result in your JRS benefit being reduced by 0.5% for each month that you are under age 60. How do you earn service credit? Service credit is earned in monthly increments while an active judge. You earn 1 month of service after completing 1 paid day of work. You can also earn service credit through the reciprocal service you've earned in another Illinois public retirement system that can be used in your benefit calculation under the Reciprocal Act. You may qualify to purchase service or transfer certain public service into JRS, or while you are receiving JRS temporary disability benefits through the end of your current term. There are many types of optional service credit that may be purchased as JRS service credit, assuming that statutory requirements are met. Some of these types include active duty military, transfer of certain public service from another Illinois retirement system, assistant corporation counsel, judge or commissioner of court of claims, holdover magistrate or master in chancery of circuit court, full-time attorney for Chicago Transit Authority, former General Assembly member, or previously refunded JRS service credit. If you are a state's attorney or public defender and no service credit was earned in another Illinois public retirement system, you may be eligible to purchase JRS service. The cost to purchase service credit will vary depending on the type of service and includes employee contributions plus interest, and in some cases, employer's normal cost. There are several ways you can pay for optional service credit. JRS accepts tax-sheltered rollovers from qualified plans. We offer an installment payment option where payments are deducted pre-tax or post-tax from your payroll check. You can send an after-tax lump sum payment. Or, if you are transferring service from another retirement system, the other retirement system will often transfer funds to pay towards your balance. Contact JRS for more information. The formula used to calculate pension benefits is as follows. Service credit is multiplied by a formula factor to arrive at a percentage. The percentage is then multiplied by the final average salary to arrive at an annual pension benefit. As a Tier 1 judge, you have what's called a graduated formula. For the first 10 years, the formula factor is 3.5% for each year, which gives you 35%. For the next 10 years, the formula factor is 5% for each year, which gives you 50%. With 20 years on the bench, you are eligible for 85% of your final average salary. Your total years of service credit determines the percentage of benefit you receive. If you retire before age 60, an age reduction may apply. The salary used to calculate your pension benefits will depend on your membership date in JRS. If your membership date is prior to August 10th of 2009, JRS uses your final rate of pay as a judge. If your membership date is on or after August 10th of 2009, but through December 31st, 2010, JRS will use the 4 highest consecutive years within the last 10. The Tier 1 age reduction applies if you retire prior to age 60 and you have at least 10 years of service. Retiring before age 60 means you're considered an early retiree and your benefit is subject to a permanent benefit reduction. The age reduction is 0.5% for each month you're under 60. However, if you have more than 20 years of JRS service and you retire before age 60, your age reduction is offset by something called 5/12 credit. For each month over 20 years, you earn 5/12 of 1%. A 55-year-old judge who has 26 years of JRS service would be able to retire with a maximum 85% benefit without an age reduction due to the 5/12 credit. Let's look at an example to show you the age reduction. On the top part of the slide, we are assuming that a judge retires at age 60 with 20 years of service, and I'm using the fiscal year 25 circuit court salary, which went into effect July 1st, 2024. 85% of $246,099 is $209,184.15. If I divide that by 12, the monthly maximum benefit for a circuit court judge with 20 years is $17,432.01 per month. But in our example, if this judge is 55 years of age instead of 60 and retires with 20 years of JRS service, the benefit is then reduced from $17,432.01 per month to $12,202.41. This reflects a 30% age reduction. The age reduction is calculated using the number of months a judge is less than age 60 on their retirement date and multiplying it by 0.5%. The reduction percentage is then subtracted from 100%, and that amount is multiplied by the earned benefit to get the reduced amount. Reciprocal service credit is earned in one of the 13 systems covered under the Reciprocal Act. They include CEABF, CTPF, Forest Preserve Employees Annuity and Benefit Fund, or FPEABF, GARS, IMRF, JRS, LABF, MEABF, MWRDF, Park Employees Annuity and Benefit Fund, PEABF, SERS, SURS, and TRS. You must earn at least 1 year of non-concurrent service credit to be included in a reciprocal pension calculation. Combined service credits from multiple retirement systems must meet the longest minimum vesting requirements in each system. For the reciprocal calculation, the final average salary used by JRS will depend on your membership date. We either use your final salary or the 48-month average. When you retire with the reciprocal system and are last with JRS, the reciprocal systems will use your JRS earnings to calculate their final average salary. Many of the systems use the 4 highest consecutive years within the last 10 years to determine a 4-year final average salary in their benefit calculation. Another benefit to using reciprocal service with JRS is that service prior to JRS boosts your JRS service to the 5% rate in the STEP formula sooner. I'll provide an example on the next slide. Just remember, each system has different formulas and rules regarding final average salary, maximum benefits, and service credit, and each system calculates their portion of the benefit using their prescribed formula or method. Each retirement system pays their share of your monthly pension benefit, and you will be required to apply for retirement with each one. If you aren't sure whether retiring with reciprocal service benefits you or not, I recommend you compare independent estimates to a reciprocal estimate to determine if it's the best way to go. So let's look at an example. This example is using IMRF service credit. In the retirement formula, the first step is to determine the percentage of benefit the member has earned in each system. We are assuming that the judge has 10 years of IMRF service credit, and under their regular formula, their formula factor is 1.667% for each year of service, which means the member has earned an IMRF benefit of 16.67% of their final average salary. The judge has 13 years of JRS service credit. The JRS formula factor is 5% for each year of service after the first 10 years, so the member has earned a JRS benefit of 65% of their final average salary. We then combine those percentages for 23 years of service. The combined benefit is equal to 81.67%. You can see in this example that the member's 10 years of IMRF service credit preceding their time as a judge allowed the judge to begin accruing benefits at the 5% formula since the service is stacked chronologically. Keep in mind that even though the combined service credit is 23 years, the member isn't eligible for maximum benefits because of the different formula factor used by IMRF. The next step is we want to determine the benefit amount for each system. IMRF will use a 4-year final average salary to calculate their portion of the benefit, and JRS will use the final rate of pay because this example is assuming a judge has a membership date prior to August 10th of 2009. Using the $229,998.72 as a 4-year average for IMRF, multiplied by the 16.67% divided by 12, we have a monthly benefit of $3,195.07. Doing the same with JRS, we use the circuit salary $246,099 multiplied by 65%, then divide by 12. The monthly benefit is $13,330.36. We add those two numbers together, and the combined benefit total is $16,525.43. Because the combined benefits are less than the maximum benefit of $17,432.01, no proportional reductions are needed. The highest maximum is determined as if all service had been earned in one system using that system's final average salary. Limiting contributions will be offered to you if you are age 60 and become eligible for an 85% benefit. Limiting contributions reduces the amount you pay in JRS retirement contributions. This allows a judge to only contribute to JRS on the difference between the salary they limited at and their future salary increases. Limiting contributions increases your net take-home pay. It doesn't impact your pension calculation, and JRS will contact you if you become eligible. Reciprocal service can be used to reach the maximum benefit. However, a judge who limits contributions using reciprocal service cannot retire from a reciprocal system until the service is no longer needed to reach a maximum benefit. It's important to note that this is an irrevocable election, and JRS recommends you contact any reciprocal systems for independent benefit estimates before you make this election. When you retire, your pension will receive an automatic annual increase. Retirees become eligible for a 3% increase in their pension effective the January 1 following the first full year in retirement. This benefit is compounded annually and will be reflected on the January 19th payment. Check with each reciprocal system regarding your automatic increase eligibility. This concludes the retirement section. In this section, we review your disability and survivor benefits. If you become disabled and unable to work, the law allows a judge with at least 2 years of JRS service credit to apply for a temporary total disability benefit. You must provide 2 licensed physician certifications. JRS will send your physician certifications and any treatment notes provided to an external medical consultant for review. If approved, the benefit pays 50% of your judicial salary. Your continued eligibility for these benefits is subject to periodic medical review to ensure you continue to qualify. Assuming you remain eligible, you can continue receiving temporary disability benefits through the end of your current term. While in receipt of temporary disability, you continue to earn service credit, and obviously you cannot be gainfully employed. JRS also offers permanent disability to Tier 1 judges. A Tier 1 judge is eligible for permanent disability with at least 10 years of service, and reciprocal service can be used to reach those 10 years. There is no minimum age to qualify, and just like with the temporary disability benefit, JRS will require 2 physician certifications, which will be reviewed by our external medical consultant, and the benefit may be subject to approval by the JRS Board of Trustees. Since this is considered a retirement disability, no service credit is earned once you begin receiving retirement disability benefits. The permanent disability benefit is calculated using the same formula as a retirement benefit, except there's no age reduction applied. It allows someone who's less than 55 years old with at least 10 years of service to draw a pension without an age reduction. Moving on to spouse survivor benefits. First, you must participate in the survivor annuity provision in order for a spouse to be eligible to receive benefits. For spousal survivor benefits to be payable, you also must be married at least 1 year immediately preceding your death. There is a minimum service credit requirement to qualify your spouse for survivor benefits. An active judge must have at least 18 months of service in order for this to be offered to the spouse. And if it's an inactive judge that passes away, they must have had 10 years of service to qualify their spouse for survivor benefits. A spouse is eligible at any age if there are dependent children. A dependent child is considered under age 18 and unmarried, a full-time student ages 18 to 22, or a disabled dependent adult over age 18. A spouse must be at least age 50 if there are no eligible child survivors under their care. If death occurs while serving as an active judge, an eligible spouse would receive a monthly survivor benefit equal to 66 2/3 of the member's earned benefit, or 7.5% of the member's final salary, whichever is greater. If death occurs after retirement, the spouse benefit is 66 2/3 of the member's retirement benefit at death. The spouse benefit is entitled to annual increases just like the member. Annual 3% survivor increases are awarded on the January 1 following the retired member's death, or the January 1 following the first full year of survivor's annuity if the member was active. Health insurance for an eligible surviving spouse is offered if the judge had at least 6 years of JRS service credit. The state would pay the health insurance premium for the surviving spouse receiving the monthly benefit. Child's annuity benefits are offered to dependent eligible children. A child, again, is considered dependent if they're unmarried under age 18, a full-time student between the ages of 18 to 22, or a disabled dependent son or daughter over age 18. Again, you must meet the minimum service credit requirements, 18 months of JRS service for active judges, 10 years of JRS service for inactive judges. Note that children are eligible for the child's annuity benefit even if the judge has not contributed to the survivor annuity provision. The child's annuity benefit is 5% of the final salary for each eligible child. If there are multiple eligible children, the total benefits for all eligible children can't exceed the greater of 20% of the final salary, or 66 2/3 of the earned retirement benefit. Benefits are payable to each child until they become ineligible, which would be age 18, or 22 if they remain a full-time student. They get married, they pass away, or they are no longer disabled. Children are also eligible to enroll in the state insurance benefits if the member had 6 years of JRS service credit. Just like the spouse, the health insurance premium would be paid by the state for those eligible children receiving a child's annuity benefit. Lump sum death benefits. When you complete a JRS death benefit beneficiary designation form, you are designating who will receive any lump sum death benefits that may be payable upon your death. Lump sum death benefits are payable when there are no qualified survivors or minimum service eligibility requirements weren't met, meaning the active judge had less than 18 months or an inactive judge left before earning 10 years. For an active judge who dies with no qualified survivors, contributions will be payable to the named beneficiary or estate. For a retired judge with no qualified survivors, any unrecovered contributions will be payable to the named beneficiary or estate. Upon divorce, a former spouse of a judge is ineligible for any monthly survivor benefits. When a participant or annuitant passes away, a quildro alternate payee may be eligible for a lump sum death benefit if it was specified in the court order. Quildro monthly benefits begin following the receipt of a valid Quildro, but not before a judge retires. Unless otherwise stated in the court order, the alternate payee continues to receive a Quildro monthly benefit until the sooner of the member passing away or the alternate payee's death. What happens to health insurance upon divorce? Dependent coverage for the spouse is terminated on the date of divorce. The retiree or participant must notify My Benefits Service Center if there is a change in marital status through death or divorce to avoid overpaying premiums. My Benefits will require a copy of the divorce decree or a death certificate before removing the spouse from insurance coverage. The cancellation date will be retroactive to the divorce date or date of death. Any claims incurred after this date will be reprocessed and not paid after the termination date. Please notify the My Benefits Service Center as soon as possible to remove a former spouse or if your spouse passes away. If this is due to a divorce, the former spouse will be offered continuation of coverage under COBRA. My Benefits Service Center will send a COBRA packet out to your former spouse. Moving on, we are now moving into retirement and beyond. This is our final section. Leaving JRS. If you were to leave the bench and you're not immediately eligible to retire, you could elect to take a refund of your contributions without any interest. You can also, if you return to the bench, you could repay that refund with interest. But if you would become active in another reciprocal system, you would have to have a minimum of 2 years of service credit in that other system before you could repay the refund. If you have at least 1 year of JRS service, it can be used reciprocally with your other reciprocal systems. And if you're vested with at least 6 years of JRS service credit and you decide to leave, you can just leave your contributions on file until you begin receiving those benefits at age 62. Inactive Tier 1 judges who aren't collecting pension benefits have no employment restrictions. When you are ready to retire, you can access your retirement packet by logging into your SRS Member Services online account or contact JRS 90 days prior to your retirement date to request a retirement packet. The packet will include forms and many fact sheets. You will need to complete and return your retirement application, your retiree insurance form, your withholding certificate for pension or annuity payments, otherwise known as a W-4P, and your initial direct deposit agreement for benefit payments. Please make sure your bank signs the bottom of this form, along with any joint account holders. If you are retiring reciprocally, you will need to contact the reciprocal system for a retirement packet at the same time that you contact JRS. And if you're eligible for Medicare, we want you to enroll in Medicare Parts A and B effective the first of the month in which you retire. Provide JRS or CMS a copy of your Medicare card. JRS will begin processing your retirement claim once your final payroll is posted to JRS, which is 7 to 10 business days following receipt of your final paycheck from the courts. In addition, we require you to submit all forms and pay any account balances you may owe to JRS or another reciprocal system. Examples of balances you may owe include amounts owed for optional service balances, amounts owed to reciprocal systems for service purchases, repaying refunded service, maybe you're buying temporary service, qualifying periods, etc. Your first retirement check will be issued 6 to 8 weeks following your retirement date, assuming your forms are received in advance of your retirement date. If you retire using reciprocal service in another retirement system, processing time can be longer, 8 to 10 weeks approximately, sometimes longer if there are more than 2 systems. Your first payment will include benefits accrued since your retirement date and may include more than 1 month. As a side note, the first payment is always a paper check. If you sign up for direct deposit, future checks will be electronically deposited into your bank account on or around the 19th of the month. Retirement benefits are paid for life. Let's talk about insurance in retirement. To be eligible to receive state-paid health, prescription drug and vision care insurance in retirement, and the option to enroll in dental and life insurance, you must have 6 years of JRS service credit as a Tier 1 judge. Reciprocal service does not count towards insurance eligibility. You can enroll covered dependents on your insurance, and you would pay premiums based on the health plan that you chose and the number of dependents and their ages. An eligible dependent includes a spouse, children to age 26, or a disabled adult child. Dental coverage can be continued in retirement, and monthly premiums are deducted from your pension check if you enroll. If you have other health insurance coverage and you're opting out of the state group insurance, you can now elect a dental-only option. Active judges are provided basic life insurance at no charge, which is 1 times their judicial salary. You can also elect optional life, subject to evidence of insurability, for up to 8 times your salary. Premiums get more expensive the older you get. Retirees under age 60 will receive 1 times their salary as basic state-paid life insurance and can elect to continue their optional life insurance based on the last judicial salary. Once you reach age 60, the optional life insurance unit is reduced from 1 times your last judicial salary to $5,000, capped at a maximum of 4 units. So the maximum life insurance a retired judge over age 60 can carry through the state's plan is $25,000. $5,000 is paid by the state, and up to $20,000 in optional life is paid by the retired judge. If you desire to add more life insurance, you will have to apply by contacting My Benefits Service Center for the insurance questionnaire. The Trail Medicare Advantage Plan is only for those who are retired and Medicare eligible. You must have Medicare Parts A and B to enroll, and you can't enroll until you and all your covered dependents are Medicare eligible. At that time, CMS will give you a 60-day enrollment window. This will happen at retirement if you and your covered dependents are already Medicare age. If you retire before Medicare age, your 60-day enrollment window will happen when you become Medicare eligible. In most cases, that's age 65. Do I have to enroll? If you and all dependents are Medicare eligible, you must enroll in the Trail MAPD option within your 60-day enrollment window. You can waive the Trail MAPD, but you cannot keep your state health insurance that you have currently, including the prescription drug and vision insurance. So if you don't enroll during the 60-day enrollment window, your state health, drug, and vision coverage will terminate for you and your dependents. If your coverage is waived, you can call the My Benefits Service Center to re-enroll the following month in most cases, or you can wait until the fall annual enrollment, which is from October 15th to November 15th. Contact My Benefits Service Center for more information. For those of you who are active judges and you are approaching age 65, or you are already 65 and planning to retire, we wanted to give you this Medicare checklist. Medicare enrollment is required for active judges and all covered dependents who will be Medicare eligible at retirement. Here's the suggested timeline from CMS. 3 months before your retirement date, begin the enrollment process in Medicare A and B. 1 to 2 months before your retirement date, once you receive your Medicare cards, send JRS or CMS copies of those cards for you and your eligible spouse. Within 30 days following your retirement date, you will receive Trail MAPD enrollment materials in the mail. Please review and enroll in the Trail MAPD plan by calling the My Benefits Service Center at 844-251-1777. Note, you are not required to enroll in Trail MAPD if you provide insurance coverage for dependents such as a spouse or children who aren't yet eligible for Medicare. Medicare rates are determined by the federal government. They have never been paid by the state of Illinois for retirees. Medicare premiums cannot be deducted from your pension checks. And Medicare will assess a late enrollment penalty if you don't enroll during your initial enrollment period at age 65 or during your special enrollment period when your current employment ends. Questions regarding Medicare premiums, enrollment, and coverage should be directed to Medicare. More information is available at medicare.gov. The income-related monthly adjustment amount applies to annual incomes above certain amounts. In 2003, the Medicare Modernization Act created the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, or IRMA, to address the fiscal challenges facing the Medicare program. IRMA was implemented in 2007 for Part B and expanded to apply to Part D enrollees in 2011. Part B and Part D premiums are based on the modified adjusted gross income as reported on your IRS tax return from 2 years ago. This slide was taken from the Medicare.gov website and shows the current income ranges and the corresponding Medicare Part B premiums. If you and your spouse are both enrolled in Medicare, the premium shown would apply to each of you. The 2024 standard Part B premium is $174.70 per month for modified adjusted gross incomes less than $206,000 for a couple filing a joint return in 2022 or $103,000 for an individual tax return. This chart is also from the Medicare.gov website. Since the Trail MAPD plans enroll you in Part D of Medicare, you will also be subject to a premium for Part D based on IRMA, if Medicare assesses you a higher premium for Part B. The Trail MAPD plans don't have a plan premium for Part D, but many retired judges may end up with a small monthly premium based on their income and tax filing status. If your modified adjusted gross income for 2022 was above $206,000 for a joint tax return, or $103,000 for an individual tax return, the monthly premium for Part D is $12.90. For more information on how IRMA may impact you, we always recommend that you contact Medicare. Once you retire, I often get phone calls from judges who are thinking about post-retirement employment. What is important for you to know is that we will suspend your JRS pension benefits and any reciprocal benefits used in your calculation if you return to work as a judge or you return to active service in a reciprocal system used in your JRS benefit calculation, or accepting permanent state employment would also result in that suspension of benefits. However, your benefit would continue in the following post-retirement employment scenarios. You accept temporary state employment for up to 75 days per calendar year. You work for a county unless service was used in your reciprocal benefit calculation. Or you work in an Illinois public university or secondary school system unless service from SURS, TRS, or Chicago Teachers Pension Fund was used in your reciprocal benefit calculation, or if the position that you're accepting in an Illinois public university or secondary school system contributes to SERS. That could result in a benefit suspension. If you are employed with the Supreme Court Arbitration Service Program or a Supreme Court commission or committee that receives no state appropriations, your benefit will continue. And finally, your benefit will continue if you become an independent state contractor and payments for services are not on a regular payroll. If you are entertaining a scenario that is not listed on this screen, we always recommend that you contact JRS. We will try to do the research and make sure you know how this will impact your pension benefit before you actually return to employment. If you are recalled to service by the Supreme Court, your JRS pension benefit will be suspended, along with any reciprocal systems that are paying you based on retiring with it, using it with JRS. Any optional life insurance that you had as a retiree is reinstated based on 100% of your new annual salary upon recall, and those life insurance premiums are age-based and may be very expensive during that recall period. You will earn additional service credit and we do ask you to reapply for retirement at the end of your recall period. Your original benefit that you've earned prior to coming back to the bench would be reinstated, and you would receive an additional amount based on the additional judicial service and salary that you were recalled to. That calculation is subject to a maximum benefit calculation, and your JRS membership date determines the salary used in calculating the additional benefit earned. Any questions about considering returning to the bench as a retired judge, please contact JRS. We can do an estimate for you and answer any questions before you make that decision. Social Security. In this section, I want to talk about the windfall elimination and the government pension offset. These are two ways your Social Security benefits may be impacted because you've contributed to JRS, which is a non-coordinated retirement system. As a judge, you do not participate in the Social Security Retirement and Disability Program. The windfall elimination provision was passed by Congress in 1983, and it affects how Social Security calculates your retirement or disability benefit if you work for an employer who doesn't withhold Social Security taxes from your salary, which is what is the case as being a judge. If you have 40 credits of Social Security covered earnings, plus a non-covered pension, you will be impacted by the windfall elimination provision when you file for retirement or disability benefits with Social Security. As a JRS participant, you don't participate in Social Security, and therefore those Social Security benefits will be reduced unless you have 30 or more years of substantial earnings under Social Security. The windfall elimination provision fact sheet produced by Social Security provides a substantial earnings chart, which is used to determine if your earnings met the minimum income limits. Keep in mind the JRS pension is never reduced because of any benefit you qualify for from Social Security, and we can't provide any information regarding your Social Security earnings history. You need to contact Social Security to find out how many years of substantial earnings you have and how you will be impacted by the windfall elimination provision. Windfall elimination adjustments never reduce a Social Security benefit to zero. The government pension offset affects the survivor benefits a judge may be entitled to if their spouse worked and contributed to Social Security. The GPO calculation uses 2/3 of the amount of the JRS pension benefit to reduce the Social Security spouses or widowers benefits you may have been eligible to receive. Now, GPO can reduce the Social Security benefit to zero if your judicial pension is high enough. The SSA.gov website has online calculators for WEP and GPO. You can also set up online access to view your earnings history and learn more about your benefits. Create a My Social Security account online today. Now let's talk about Social Security and your retirement. What do you need to do when you retire? You will need to notify your local Social Security office. You can call the National Customer Service number, which is 800-772-1213. This applies whether you are already receiving Social Security benefits or you are in the process of applying. You will need to provide Social Security with a copy of your first payment letter from JRS, and we mail this to you once your retirement claim is processed. Social Security will then evaluate your work history and determine the amount your benefit will be reduced due to the windfall elimination provision. JRS cannot provide any estimate of this reduction, so again, we recommend you contact your local Social Security office for more information. What forms do you need to enroll in Medicare? If you are already enrolled in Medicare Part A when you retire, you will complete a CMS 40B, which is a Medicare Part B enrollment form. You can find this form at www.cms.gov, which is the website for Medicare. Or you can also find it inside your myssa.gov online account, or pick up a paper copy at your local Social Security office. When you enroll, you may need an additional form, which is called a CMS L564. This would need to be completed by your employer, the Administrative Office of the Illinois Courts. You would notify the payroll department, and this is needed if you are retiring and you are already past age 65. This form, completed by the employer, will exempt you from a late enrollment penalty for Medicare Part B. When you're completing your Medicare Part B enrollment form, the CMS 40B, make sure to request your coverage to begin the first of the month of your retirement date. If you have more questions about Medicare enrollment, contact JRS or your local Social Security office. This concludes my presentation. Please contact JRS if you have any questions regarding your benefits. Please note this presentation provides a general overview of your JRS benefits in non-technical language. If there's any discrepancy between the information presented in this presentation and the plan document as described in 40 ILCS 5 Articles 1, 18, and 20, including the Board's administrative rules set out at 80 Illinois Administrative Code 1750, the plan document controls.